Okay, you have to bear with me for this review today because my zoom lens isn't being detected by my camera for some reason today, so I'm having to use my 50mm, so I can't zoom in, zoom out, so I'm very sort of squashed right into the picture, but I'll try to make it work. It's a review this time for a power bank or a battery pack, whatever you'd like to describe it as, for a smartphone. You can plug it into pretty much any smartphone. It should work. It should work with iPhones. In fact, they do say on their website it does work with the iPhone 6s, which at the time of making this review is the latest model of iPhone, and it should work on Windows phones and Android phones, etc. It's made by GMYLE, and I've reviewed plenty of products by them before. It's a wallet-sized battery pack. It's very small and light, and it comes with a cable. So let's just sort of unbox it and see what comes inside. It has 2 years warranty. First off, in the box we get this. It's a keychain, but within that white little box, if you squeeze each side of the white box, you can then pull that black strap out, and on each end of the strap it's a different ends, a lightning end and a USB end. So it's basically like a keyring strap, but the strap is actually a cable, which is quite neat. I've reviewed one like this before because you can buy it separately. But if you don't already have this, it comes free with your battery pack. I'm not sure how well you can see this because I'm so zoomed in, but I've actually taken the cap off here. And there it is with the lid off. Then here is the USB mini or micro end. I'll look in the manual in a minute and see which type it is. Then a lightning end on that side. Now this is really interesting. It's, let's see, there's my hand, there's my hand. It's very small, sort of. It's not as wide as your palm of your hand, but longer. But it's still quite small, and when I get to the manual it should give dimensions. As you can see, it has a logo. I've got this sideways to fit in the view because I haven't got a zoom lens working at the moment, but in the bottom corner, if you're holding it sort of upright like a book, it would be the bottom right corner. In this view it's the bottom left corner. And on the right side, which would normally be the top if you're holding it up like a book, there is a little LED indicator, power light. It's not plugged in yet. Now this bit here is interesting. This corner here, you actually lift up and it pulls up, and it's actually a small USB as well. So that is really good. I'll show you in a sec. Not sure if you can see. You see, here it is. Now if I lift this up, there you go. That's actually a USB up here where my finger's pointed at. Small USB. Then you sort of put it back down and pop it into this hole here to reattach it to the device out of the way when you're not using it. Not much on the back, just basically your sort of safety information, your input, output, and the capacity. It's 2500 milliamps. The input and output of this device is USB 5 volt 1 amp. And that's for the output and the input. Now, as I've mentioned, it comes with 2 years warranty, which is pretty good. Let's have a look at the manual. I've got the manual out. What can bother showing on the camera, it's like manuals get with a lot of their products or any other product. It's a little small palm size white little leaflet. Now, here is the charging time. Here's the charging time. So it says the 2500 milliamp charging time. For 5 volt 1 amp, if you have it plugged into something that supports 1 amp, it will be about 4 to 5 hours to fully charge. If you plug it into something that's 5 volt 0.8 amps, it will be 6 to 7 hours, or 5 volt 0.5 amps is 7 to 9 hours. So basically, you're looking probably, under normal circumstances, about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours to fully charge the battery when it's flat. The LED indicator will be red when it is being charged. It will turn blue if it's charging another device. So if you have the pack plugged into, say, an iPhone, it will be blue to show you that it is powering the other device. or if it's blinking a blue light, if the light is blue and blinking, it means that it has low power, so you should really recharge the battery. This external battery, it says, is compatible with most USB adapters. It says please charge the external battery with a USB adapter with at least 1 amp output. Charging time is approximately 5.5 hours or 1 amp output. Okay, I was wrong about the dimensions. The leaflet, the manual, does not give dimensions of the depth, the width or height of this device. But if I can find out if it says it like on the website or Amazon, I will put this as a subtitle, a bit of text overlay on this video to let you know. But here is the charging port. It's actually not on the top, it's on the side. So if you hold it up like a book and looking at the front of it with the logo, it would be on the left corner, top left corner on the side. So if we're looking at it like this, the device, where you have the logo at the bottom right and the cable thing there, the LED in the middle, it's over here. It's over here on this side, but on this side. Okay, so I'm just actually going to stop this video and I'll cut away, come back, and I'll have it actually plugged into a mobile phone, an Android LG phone. I haven't got my Windows phone on me to demonstrate, but it does work on Windows Phone, it does work on Android phones, it does work on iOS phones such as the iPhone, or you could probably actually use it on the iPad, but they don't say, and I haven't tried, so don't take my word for that. But anyway, it will work on iOS iPhones, it will work on Android smartphones and Windows phones. It should work pretty much on all mobile phones. It just really depends upon the connector, because this has a mini USB end and it has a lightning end. So if you're using a device for stock with the older type of connector that Apple used to use, the 30-pin connector, not the lightning connector, it might still work, but you'd need to get a different cable. So I can't guarantee it will work on devices with different sort of proprietary ends, such as a special, say LG had their own special charging end port and stuff. That may not work, well, it wouldn't work. So, but as long as your smartphone has either a lightning cable end, i.e. it's an iPhone, or it has a small USB end, you should be fine. But I will find out exactly which end this is, because there's a micro and a mini USB end. I can never remember which is which. I'll try to figure out which one this is and put it as a text overlay as well. So whichever one it is, as long as your Android or Windows phone or whatever charges via that type of small USB end, you should be fine. It should work without a problem. But I'm going to get a very cheap Android smartphone that's made by LG. I'm going to connect it in, and I will show you that it does work, and I'll show you the LED light will turn on, and I have had no problems with it. It seems to work absolutely fine. I've only tried it on a Nokia Lumia 820 Windows phone and a cheap LG phone, but it does work on that. And I think if it wasn't going to work on a smartphone, it would be the Windows phone, because they are less known and companies test their products with those type of phones less than they would with an Android or iPhone. So I think if we're going to have problems with it, it would be on a Windows phone, and it works on Windows phone, it works on a Android, it works on iOS. It's been working great, but I'll show you it plugged in just a sec. Okay, I'll have to change angles a few times here. I'll go explain about being too zoomed in. Basically, I've taken the little rubbery cable that's attached to it out of its slot, and I've plugged it into the bottom of the LG phone. As you can see, the blue lights come on to show that it is powering another device. The blue light's on it, which if it was flickering blue, it would mean that it was low on battery. It's a solid blue light, so it's not low on battery and it's charging the other device. Now, if it was red, that would be because you had a cable plugged in to it, charging the battery pack. It's solid blue, so he's charging the other device. Now, an interesting thing here, is I realised this phone was plugged in to charge overnight because it was flat. The battery on the phone was out and the charger wasn't plugged in. So when I went to turn on this phone, it just wouldn't turn on at all. The internal battery in the phone was completely flat. But I plugged this into it just then, just before filming. The blue light came on the external battery by GMYLE, and the device booted straight up saying it is charging with a little battery symbol with a bar going across showing that it is now charging. So that shows that even if your phone has a completely flat battery and won't even turn on, this will start charging it and power it up. So that is great. That shows that even on a completely flat battery, this external battery pack by GMYLE works. So there you can see, blue light, it's going from the rubbery cable built into the battery pack to the LG phone, and it is charging it now even though it had a completely flat, completely dead battery. So that means that if this happened to you when you're traveling, if you were, say, on a business trip or road trip, whatever, maybe couldn't charge your phone for some reason, you have this battery pack, your phone is completely dead, you can't turn it on, but you really need to use it, you can plug this battery pack into your phone, and you'll be able to use your phone to make any calls, maybe even emergency calls if you are broken down at the side of the road, whatever, even if your phone is completely flat. So that is really, really good. I'm not sure how focused I am on the device, but as you can see, that proves that it is turned on and it is charging. What if we need to use a lightning cable, such as on an iPhone 6s? Well, obviously that isn't going to cut it, that's a USB end. So how do we get around this? Well, it comes with this. It fits onto the end of the blue bit, the USB, and on this end here, it has a lightning end. Well, this is your mini or micro USB end. I'll put it on the screen. You have this little adapter. Now on this end here is your lightning end that plugs into your iPhone. On this end it has a port that you plug this end into the bottom of this end. So basically then it turns this blue rubbery end that we used on the LG into a lightning cable instead. I'll put it on and show you what I mean. Okay, see what I mean? That little black thing attaches to the blue end, and now instead of that blue rubbery end being just a USB end, it is now a lightning end which can then be plugged into your iPhone, as long as your iPhone is a newer model which has the lightning port on it instead of the old longer 30-pin connector. If you have an iPhone with a lightning end, by attaching this adapter that comes free with the device to the end of the blue rubbery end, it then is now a lightning end, and that goes straight into your phone just like it did before, but without the black lightning adapter on it. Where do you find that black end? Where do you find the lightning cable adapter? It's not obvious. It's not loose in the box, probably because it's small and they don't want it to get lost when you open it or whatever. So it's actually hidden a little bit. Now see this hole here? This is a hole that had the lightning end stored in it, and you have to basically shake it out or pry it or put like a USB end into the bottom and then pull it out. So I'll show you what it looks like with it in. Okay, so that is that little empty hole now here with the lightning adapter stored in it. Now to get it out, you can try shaking it, and if that doesn't work, you can get a USB that fits, plug it in, pull it out like that. And then you always put it back in to store it like that. So, what do I think of it? It's actually quite a neat device. It powers phones as an external power source and battery pack and way to charge it, even if your phone is flat as a pancake and there's no charge on it whatsoever. It doesn't just come with a small USB end for things like Android phones and Windows phones. It also has a quite neat looking little black adapter hidden inside itself that goes on the end of the blue USB end to transform it into a lightning cable instead. It comes with a keychain which has a USB 3 end on it and a regular small USB end on the other end, and that can tuck away inside a keychain, which is quite neat. And then everything's nice and concealed afterwards. Everything's nice and tucked away to make it travel very easily to travel with. You can tuck your adapter, your lightning adapter, into that little slot on top. Then you can seal down that blue top and plug basically the blue USB into itself, and it's all nice and sealed tight, and everything's safe and easy to transport. It is small and light. In fact, I can't actually probably emphasize enough how light this device is. If you hold it, it's almost like holding a credit card. It's the size of a credit card in dimensions, and about height and width is about the same as a credit card. Holding it in your hand, you'd think you're holding a credit card. There's just no weight to it at all, really. It's light as a feather. It is really, really light. You barely know you're holding it. It's like a credit card in dimensions and in weight. I don't think you probably couldn't even quite comprehend how light this device is until you got it, because a lot of people say, oh, this is very light, and yes, it's light when you get it, but it's never weightless, whereas this is almost, I could almost call this weightless. The best way I can describe it is it's like holding a credit card. It weighs, I'm not sure what weight it is. It doesn't have the dimensions in the manual. I'd have to look it up online and see if I can find out. But it must weigh about the same as a credit card, because if I have this, if I have the battery pack in one hand and a credit card in my other hand, they feel about the same weight. The only thing I'll say, because it is so thin, small and light, it does feel a bit plasticky and flimsy. It feels like if you dropped it, it would probably break easily. So it's a good device. It's light. I can't begin to describe how light it is, and it's credit card size. Everything tucks away inside itself neatly out of the way for transportation. It works flawlessly. It's great. It works with most smartphones, and well, probably should work with all smartphones really. The only downside is it's very thin and plastic and feels very flimsy, and it feels like it might break very, very, very easily. So you'd have to be a bit careful with it if you're going on holiday or whatever with it. You know, just be a bit careful. But apart from that, it's a really good battery pack. I'm actually very impressed with it. As you can see, we have the adapter for lightning tucked away. Now all we need to do is just sort of put this back on top of itself. There you go. Now that has its lightning adapter underneath that blue flap, so it's tucked away, it won't fall out, it's nice and secure and easy to transport and won't get lost, even though it's very, very small. The only thing I'll say is, of course, I say the build feels very flimsy. Also this, you have to get the right angle. When you pull the flap down and insert the USB end into its empty little hole there to hold it, it sometimes won't go right in the hole. You have to sort of angle it a little bit to position it. But you won't have to be doing that very often. It won't really get really too annoying, I don't think. But yeah, I do recommend it. It should work with pretty much all smartphones. It's very self-contained. It has a lightning adapter and a built-in USB adapter. And if you need lightning, you just shake the adapter out and put it on the end. If not, and when you aren't using it, or you don't need that end, you can just store it in a little hole inside itself, and it's tucked away, neatly confined, out of the way. The USB end, the blue USB end, doesn't just hang loose and you don't have to transport it separately and plug it in. It's attached to the device and then folds nicely inside itself and plugs into itself out of the way. It's all nicely sort of all integrated and confined. Very transportable, very small in size. It's length and width, like I say, about credit card size, and it's about the weight of a credit card. It's very, 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 very light. The lightest battery pack I've ever used. I have reviewed one before, and I never used a device as light as this, I don't think. Very light, very small, very portable and transportable. It really is great. I will put the price in the description. I will put a link to their website in the description and a link to this product on Amazon in the description. Please like and comment on this video, and if you could do me a huge favour and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it only takes a few seconds and will help me out a lot. Thanks.